Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope everybody is really doing well. So, guys, I hope you are I'm not going crazy with what BTC is doing. Actually, the 49K gave us a very good bounce. Actually, indeed, as I mentioned as well on our previous train that. There is one more move on the downside, which is going to happen. And if we do close above 53.3, we are going to see a move on an upside. I personally bought some Bitcoin when it flipped 53.3 and not made much, but I would say from 53.3 retest that we got, it's almost like 8% move on an upside. There are levels, sometimes we have to watch. I bought spot without any stop loss. It was not a trade, but it was more of an investment. Basically, without any stop loss. It wasn't any trade actually. 53.3 was a good level. So now, guys, what exactly is next for BTC? I mean, if you can see, there is a panic across the board, not only on crypto markets, but on SPX, or you can say any market to take it, Japan or Taiwan or whatever the markets you can take it. What exactly is happening across the global economy actually. Looking to the structure that we are having on Bitcoin, I've seen a very similar sort of a structure, guys. And before I deep dive into the lower term time frame, I just wanted to show you, or want to show you exactly what BTC can or will do actually in coming days. I think the dump that we got, as you can see here, we got a massive move on the downside, and that dump happened with a very huge volume. As you can see over here, the candle was huge. That was almost close to 60,000 Bitcoin traded on Coinbase at that day, and that's like a 60,000 Bitcoin was dumped on a single day. That was a massive candle actually, as you can see from the volume actually. And overall, if you can see here, we already closed 1, 2, 3, and this is going to be like a fourth candle if we closed under EMA 200. Now what happens normally when we close candles like this for Bitcoin? As I mentioned, $60,000 retest will happen, and after that I'm expecting Bitcoin to give us a retest of $52,500 to maybe $52,000. But what exactly we can expect from Bitcoin, guys? I mean, what should we be expecting? If you just look at historical data, or maybe you can say the previous data on Bitcoin, there are two possibilities over here. Very interesting possibilities. First, if you see here, we got a massive move on the downside, despite of the fact this volume was not good. But overall, as you can see, if the EMA 200, that's like a $60,000 is reclaimed, then you will see a massive move on an upside for like a new all-time highs on Bitcoin, and it's not gonna stop. It's going to be like a very massive move on an upside. So if EMA 200 act as a deviation, this is like a trap. That's going to be like a trap, because fear and greed index is literally reset. It just went to 17 yesterday, so practically it was like a complete reset. There's an extreme fear, and in the market, and the times when we have extreme fear, normally the times where we should be buying. You should not be looking to sell anything, but especially you should be looking to buy something actually. So that's what the fear teaches us. The another scenario that we have is more of an accumulation. So we got a massive move on the downside. As you can see, the volume roughly around 28,000 Bitcoin was traded on 17th of August 2023. So we got a dump. We closed under EMA 200, then we got sideways. A retest of EMA 200 happened, and after that we swept the lows one more time, after which we started pumping back up. And if you remember, these sort of a move might happen or repeat again. So if you look at here, on the Bitcoin perspective, and if I just look at not purely from Bitcoin perspective, I don't see no USD dominance, nothing. The only thing that comes to my mind over here is this. Let's say this is like a very interesting theory, guys. Why? Because Bitcoin literally lost EMA 200 just in a span of, I would say, 1 month. So if you remember, on 4th of July we lost EMA 200 for good, and we went literally to the lows of $54,000, and then we just probably did some sort of a move, retest of EMA 200, a dump back down, and then going back up towards $70,000. Similarly, if you look at here, we just lost EMA 200 for like in just 1 month. Practically speaking, guys, this is not really healthy to me actually. Why? Because if EMA 200 was that strong, if the trend was that strong, honestly, this should not have lost it at first place. Actually, it shouldn't have lose, but we have lost, and we are trading under EMA 200. That's massive. That's like investors are looking at this point Bitcoin as like the bounces are for shorting or for selling. That's how they look at, because if you lose the trend of EMA 200 on daily perspective, or even if you look at like on the weekly time frame, this is a clear no for an investor. Actually, this is how the long-term investors try to hedge their bets actually. And in my view, yes, they are going to hedge their bets. You will see a massive move on Bitcoin from 59.4 further back down to maybe somewhere around $52,000 in my view. If you look at the Bitcoin funding, till yesterday when we dumped, the funding was negative, and right now the funding have turned positive actually, which is quite in my view not a good sign, which means that there is something going on with a lot of people are buying BTC. In my view, that is not a good thing actually at this point. In fact, Ethereum is just not moving the way BTC is moving, because ETH BTC already got a massive move on an upside. As you can see, a very good bounce we got from ETH BTC. But I do think that ETH BTC is not yet done. It needs one more move on the downside, as I mentioned previously as well. So practically speaking, guys, if I just have to tell you what is my plan for BTC, there are two possibilities over here for Bitcoin. The first possibility I am seeing is something like this. It's not going to be easy for Bitcoin, but yes, that's a very well deserved plan for BTC. So that's what I would like to see BTC be doing. If you just look at from the Fibs perspective, this is where the 0.5 Fib comes into the play and the golden pocket zone. So 57.2, we already reached the 0.5 Fib. We might go to 59.3, but overall, whatever we're gonna do, I think this is how we do. We are likely going to see something like this, and then another push on an upside. Now this push can be a reversal, or it can be ABC, and then further dump towards my biggest EMA 800 that we have around 42,800 as a support, or 2023 highs as a support. So that's like a more of a bear case scenario. With this move on the downside, this is likely going to be a truncation. This is not going to be ABC. This is more likely going to be a truncation. So this is not a bear flag. People will think this is like a bear flag, but this is going to be like a trap. This is going to be like a truncation. This is like a truncated wave 5, and you're going to like 1 2 3 4 5 ABC, again come back down like this, and from there we pump up like this. That's how the market might move, or can trick you actually, or likely going to trick us. And why do I think that the move on the downside is imminent and it's going to happen? Why am I not giving any scalps at this point? No longs, no short. There's two reasons over here. Why? If you look at here on the USDT dominance font, USD dominance, we did a 5 waves on upside. That was some sort of a like wave A or wave 1, and then you did irregular expanded flat for like wave B or wave 2. And if this is wave C, the wave C needs to have 5 waves, which is like 1 2. We got a massive move on an upside for a wave 3. Yes, we are touching wave 4 right now, or maybe something like this is going to happen, and after that one more push is definitely coming for USD dominance. So practically speaking, guys, where would I short it? Yes, I'm interested in shorting BTC very clearly. As I mentioned, I'm interested in shorting BTC around 59.4 to $60,000. Very big I'm gonna go actually. But if you look at from the even the lower term time frame perspective, so let's go to the lower term time frame perspective later on. But there are two possibilities. If you really want to buy BTC, two ways. Wait for it to come back down here towards 49.8 to 50k levels. That's one way of doing it. The second way is flip EMA 200. Once it flips EMA 200 like this, you can buy around 59.3 and with a target of almost close to $75,000, because that is a very interesting flag over here. Not a perfect flag, but a flag sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, this is a very valid, will be a very valid move for Bitcoin actually, and after that I'm expecting BTC to dump further more. But overall, I think whatever we are expecting, if we are expecting one more push on an upside for BTC, guys, BTC needs to hold $40,000. We don't want to see BTC going to $40,000, because if we go to $40,000, definitely that is not going to be bullish. Now let's look at from the perspective of weekly EMAs. If you look at here, we literally went under EMA 50 on a weekly, but right now we haven't closed weekly. We still have 4 days left. We want to see how are we going to close EMA 50. Last time as well, when we dumped over here in 29th November 2021, we went under EMA 50. We closed above. Market went a little bit sideways, as you can see here, and then we went further down, retesting the EMA 100, that is green EMA. After that, we saw a massive move on an upside. So I do see, guys, if this week is more of a volatile, the next week is going to be more of a choppiness, and it's going to be more of a sideways. I would suggest and I would recommend each and every one of you to avoid alts at this point. Even the Bitcoin dominance looks bearish to me, but still I would say avoid alts. And if you really want to buy alts, I would say don't go all in every one. Just choose one or two alts that look strong. For example, Solana looks great to me. Near looks good to me. So these are the two alts that looks good to me at this point. I'll talk about it later in this stream, but you see, I mean, the pattern is very, very clear when we talk about this dump. Actually, the EMA 50 is likely, going to be retested at some point as a support over here as well. When we dumped EMA 50, when we went under EMA 50, we bounced up very nicely, and after that we gave us a retest and swept the lows, and then later on move on an upside. So practically speaking, I do think at this point, that you are not gonna see some like V-shaped sort of reversal. No, it needs a little bit more accumulation. It needs a little bit more sideways. It needs a little bit more, disbelief in the market. Hey, the market is dead. We are not going back to new all-time highs, and it's going to literally $40,000. Because what is going to happen, my friends? This week was massive. It was like a bloodbath. The next week is going to be more bloodbath. Why? Because lot of people are going to get chopped. They're going to take longs from the market. They're going to take shorts from the market. The market makers are going to go for everyone, shorts as well as long. So both are going to get wrecked at some point. So practically speaking, ladies and gentlemen, I think the sideways is coming for like a week or so. Maybe can go for 2 to 3 weeks as well for this whole month of August. And September, October, yes, would be can be good in my view, because normally September is a good month. It's always likely, a very high likely that it's green actually. That's what I've seen so far. So August is like a bloodbath, as I mentioned as well previously. We might see a little bit bounce on August. Yes, we saw a bounce in August. In July, I wanted 75,000. If we would have done 75,000, we would have never talked about new all-time highs. That's the end. But right now we are missing that one more move on an upside. Makes me think that there is still one more move pending. And if you look at from the wave count perspective on the short-term time frame, this is the wave count that I have. Either this is A, this is B, and the pump that we saw was wave C, which means this is top, and you got a very, very interesting irregular expanded flat that we are talking about. That's like a massive irregular expanded flat. If you know the higher term time frame plans, HTF plans, I've showed it to BLX chart as well. So that's a massive irregular expanded flat. Let me hide the EMA so that the chart looks a little bit clean. And the another plan is the wave count that I have is this is wave 1, this is wave 2, this is wave 3, and the only reason why this wave 3 is valid because of the volume. Normally wave 3 gives us a huge volume, and you can see here the volume is inclining, it's not declining. So That's the reason the wave 3 is still a valid wave 3. And in my view, this can be some sort of a B and C. This is like A, B, C wave 4, a little bit tricky. We go for a wave 5 like this, everything is done, and then we go for bigger sideways in 2025, forming head and shoulder and something like this, like a bear market kicks in 2025, and the whole year 2025 is going to be like wrecked year. The downfall, downtrend, big dumps are going to happen if this is how it wants to play actually. So maybe we just go a little bit sideways this month, and if this is how a 1 2 3 4 5 needs to play out, even though if it goes for a 5 waves on an upside, yes, the 5 waves can be B wave actually. This is going to be like A, B, C. That's going to be 5 waves on an upside for like a B wave. That's going to be another 5 waves for like C wave. That's it, we are done. Now this 5 waves, not necessarily that we need to sweep the lows. No, we can end anywhere between here as well, make everyone believe that we're going to go down like some sort of a maybe some sort of a manipulation, but we don't do any manipulation. We simply accumulate and then we run up back towards $400,000 in maybe 2026, 2028. So that's the hard term time frame plans, guys. Lower term time frame, as I mentioned, it's still if you look at the 15 minutes time frame, I see a very interesting diagonal over here, and that diagonal is perfectly getting supported by the volume. If you look at here perfectly, you will see that the volume is declining over here, as well as the price is inclining. So if you see here, the price is inclining, which means that clearly the move is getting exhausted. This up move is getting exhausted, which in my view is a very good levels to short, honestly speaking. Maybe like a deviation or something like this, and we are likely going to see a move on the downside, something like this. I'm expecting it to retest the 52.6 levels here. After that, maybe even one more move down the downside like this would be nice for a short. And this is going to be like a truncation, as I mentioned. We don't sweep the lows. It's like a truncation, make everyone believe that we are going to sweep it. We don't sweep it. From here we pump it back up to $60,000, testing the EMA 200, trying to break out. We don't break out, we fake out, form a little bit more range in August itself. We sweep it then, like forming some sort of a very interesting lows, and then we go up. This is going to be very good plan if it plays out. This perfectly goes with my Elliot wave theory as well, and the wavecon that I have. We need to form a very interesting support. The worst case scenario would be this is some sort of a 1 2 1 2 very small 1 2 1 2 scenario, and out of nowhere we break out for like this. We break out and then we form a very interesting Adam and Eve. So that's going to be our Adam, that's like a V-shaped recovery, and Eve is going to be a cup formation, and then we do something like this, and then we break out. So that's how the bull case scenario goes. But in my view, I stick with the bear case scenario, as I mentioned, because the old LTF, the 3 drive is very valid with the volume is going down. So practically speaking, I am very interested in this 3 drive. I might take a short scalp on BTC. I might take it. Very risky it would be, but might take it with a very low risk. Normally if I take, like, let's say for example 10k risk on each trade for scalps, for example, I would just go with like 1k risk on this one. So I can short probably weekly opens, we can short it, and with a stop loss around 59.8 with a take profit targets of around 52.6 can give us a very nice 3.3 hour gains over here. Again, I mean, this is a very interesting short in my view. It's a perfect logical short. Basically I can take this scalp. Actually I'll take this scalp very, but as I mentioned, I'm just going to take 1/10 of the risk I normally take it. So if I normally take 10k risk on each trade for scalps, I'm just going to go with 1k risk actually. So it all depends. I won't tell you the percentage terms, but this is how I just want to tell you, because if this is how I'm playing, you should also be playing. We want to make some money with these scalps. We are not going to make some net worth with this, but just some money actually. That's what the plan is. But the good part about the pump is, and I feel that it's going to happen, because we have a huge and a massive CME gap. Normally the CME gap fills very quickly. Normally, this is how I see. So if you look at here, we have a massive CME gap from here till here. It's a massive gap, actually, massive. So yes, the gap I expect it to fill, as I mentioned. 60k is what I would like to see, and because we fill the CME gap over here as well, I'm expecting it to fill as well. So the CME gap is going to get filled, but how is a very important question. This can be a deviation, as I mentioned, but what we might do is a little bit push up, as I mentioned. After that, go for a level bottom sort of a thing, and then we fill the CME gap like this. It's gonna be like a massive ABC on the upside. So that's how we do actually. Our total scenario for Bitcoin is, this was the chart I posted, like I shared with you previously as well, bullish count as well as bearish count. The bullish count is 1, 2, 3. As I mentioned, this might be the wave 4 actually, and we have one more push on an upside for the wave 5 towards 3 trillion to 3.18 trillion, anywhere in between. And after that, a head and shoulder forms. The ABC scenario is, this is wave A, this is wave B. The top is in over here, and which I feel might not be, because you have a huge volume. So right now the bear case scenario having a very less probability of playing out. I would say less than 50%, somewhere around 40-45%, only and only because of the volume. If this move, the pump that happened would have been with a very low volume, I would have not even given 40-45% probability. I would have just given this ABC count is somewhere close to 60% probability. But just because we have this volume, I'm just going to give ABC a less probability. Also over here, one more thing. Normally wave 3 makes new all-time highs. Normally it just have to make new all-time highs. It just normally does. So I feel that the move on the downside we saw, there has to be a truncation. We have to fill the fair value gaps that we have on the downside after this massive move. Like, can be like a double bottom sort of thing or something, because if you look at here as well, in 2021, you see we got a massive dump, like a straight dump, and then what we did was a massive recovery happen, and after that a double bottom, a little bit accumulation happen, and after that new all-time highs. So similar sort of a thing. If I just have to put it here from the bar pattern perspective, a very interesting bar pattern. If I just have to put it across this, I would definitely see BTC doing or the total crypto market doing something like this. It's a very interesting chart, very interesting chart. Let me show you. See, that's a very interesting chart. A little bit more accumulation you needed, and boo, you go for a new all-time highs for a wave 5. And that's how you sweep the highs. You go for a wave 5, you complete this whole pattern, makes head and shoulder, and then khalas, the end of this whole bull run. So it would be very nice if this plays out actually, and we still have a little bit more time in my view. I feel the dump that we are seeing across the board is like a reset in my view. It's I feel this is like a panic. This is like a capitulation that's happening at this moment. Everybody's getting capitulated. The BlackRock started buying heavily, because if you just look at from the BlackRock perspective, Bybit, 11th of Jan when they started listing, we got a dump from there towards 1.48 trillion. So if you just look at from the BTC perspective, from 11th Jan perspective, yes, we got a we just have to look at the daily chart. 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so they started buying like this from 48,800, and then we go a move on the downside to 39,000. So practically this is where the BlackRock started accumulating in this box. Practically speaking, this is the box where the BlackRock Bybit started accumulating basically, and that's where we bounced from. So practically speaking, anything above this green box, the ETF is in gains, is in profits. Anything under this is like a capitulation for ETF as well. So I think we will likely going to test one more time on the downside for this ETF thing, which in my view clearly makes sense to me actually. The short that I'm going to take it, I will post it in my corner. It's very high short. I'm going very high risk trade. I'm gonna take it. If you feel that you want to take it, you can take it. I'm gonna take it. So let's see how this plays out. It's a very good 3.3 hour setup. For Ethereum, I feel there is a likelihood that we might be topped out. Actually, the waveform suggests that we topped out because the dump that we saw is massive. It's a massive. I don't have a reasoning that this is wave 1, this is wave 2, this is wave 3. No, this can't be wave 4. It's too deep. So practically, Ethereum looks to me like it's stopped actually. For ETH, this is the perfect wave count that I have for ETH actually. Perfect wave count. This can be, this can be wave 3 over here, a bounce from there towards maybe some sort of a retest of $3,000. And I see that ETH should do something like this in my view. Practically speaking, ETH gives me a vibe that it's stopped actually. Even though BTC don't give me a vibe, but Ethereum is clearly giving me a vibe. It's stopped, and hence this is the major reasoning I'm telling you that for this is the only reason I'm telling you we should not be avoiding alts at this point. Yeah, ETH we might be taking some scalps, but not much I would say. The priority is Bitcoin at this point. So Ethereum is not giving me that good vibes actually. It's just giving me some sort of a bearish vibes. Why? Because even if this is some sort of A, B, and C has to be 5 waves. This is 1, 2, 3. There has to be wave 4, and then needs to be one more move on the downside. So clearly $2,000 to 1,959 is what you can expect for ETH. And I am not buying any single ETH at this point. Whatever we have for the challenge, I would just hedge it a little bit more upside on the ETH for somewhere around 2,613 to 2,614. And I'm literally going to hedge my ETH bets, for the challenge as well. I'm going to hedge it. I'm going to go 2x short on ETH, and I'm just going to forget about it, honestly speaking. But yeah, there has to be one more move on the downside for ETH. There has to be. This is like some sort of a wave 1, 2. That's a wave 3, a wave 4, something like this, wave 4, and wave 5. That wave 5 have to come. And after that, we can see A, B, C on ETH towards 3,200, maybe 3,300. And if the wave count is like, we go for a diagonal, then we go for 4,400 or so. So we will see at that point of time how ETH performs. But for now, I do think ETH is bearish. Don't touch it. Do not look for longs. We look for short scalps on ETH. If ETH gives us the bounce to 2,700, clean short, it will be with the stops above 2,950. With the take profit targets would be around 2,100 and $2,000. So that's what I would be expecting for ETH. So that's my plan, guys, for Bitcoin, Ethereum total. Total 2, guys, is so bearish at this point. It lost the equilibrium, very much indeed lost the equilibrium. And honestly speaking, this equilibrium is something, the most important levels of all. So when we lose such sort of equilibrium, this tells me that this is some sort of a wave A, B, C, khalas, that's the end. And this is like A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, little bit push up, a down is going to happen. So practically speaking, total 2, I'm expecting to test $589 billion. So don't rush into any longs for alts, don't rush into any long for ETH at this point till we see a clear breakout or a flip of certain levels on total 2 and total crypto market cap and then later on we will be looking for buys, but I won't take risk. Even though total 3 looks good for a flag, but what I feel is still we don't flip this green box. I feel this is like a bearish retest and it's going to be going down like this, because we have a liquidity, we have a huge liquidity under this, and that's the ultimate liquidity we want to target. So 438 billion, this is the bull count that I have. The yellow one is the bull count. Let me just see. The probability is good, but I feel it's a very low probable count actually at this point. Very low probable. The high probable count is the white one, because ETH looks bearish to me. Total 2 looks bearish to me. USD dominance looks bullish to me on the half-term time frame. It have to have one more push on an upside. And why I think it have to have one more push on an upside? Clearly, even though when we had a massive 1 2 3 move on and upside and a rejection happens, you see what happened. We go for a reversal, we go for like a triple top, we swept the highs, and then we start dumping down like this. So this is what I feel that, you know, the USD dominance needs to have an upside. Just look at from the daily perspective on the USD dominance, guys. If you look at the USD dominance, the RSI is not having any bearish divergence, honestly speaking, but the RSI went a little bit towards 80, and I really want to see a bear divergence now. How? I want it to do something like this. We don't make higher highs like this, we make lower highs, and over here the price makes higher highs, forming a bearish divergence slowly and gradually, and then would be a good reason to buy for like a double top on the daily on the USD dominance. That would be a very good interesting setup. If you look at from the weekly perspective, yeah, I know it looks a very good candle for like a rejection sort of a thing, but the weekly is also not exactly having a bad divergence for now. It might form if we close under this highs, actually it might. So let's see how are we going to close, but for now weekly looks bullish to me. Actually, it's like a clean breakout on the weekly. So let's see. For now I think the weekly looks bullish. Daily is not having any sort of a reversal candle. The lower term time frame suggests that, you know, we can have a move like this, and then slowly and gradually can move up like this. A rejection is going to happen, come back down again, push up like this. That's going to be 5 waves, and then we can dump like this. Would be very nice. So let's see. That's my plan. So that's all what I have for today's stream. The last charts we want to discuss is dollar index. Dollar index have lost the biggest levels of 103.5. It seems like a bearish retest to me. Actually, the bearish retest is going to happen over here, and after that I'm expecting it to further dump towards 101 point something, and like this it's gonna go. If it flips this levels of 103.4, I would like to see, then we'll be expecting dollar index to pump it up like this towards here, and then maybe forming head and shoulder and further dump like this. So dollar index is like a bearish retest to me at this point. ETH/BTC I've already discussed. Solana is looking interesting on the heart and time frame, but with the way it has recovered almost from $100 to or $109 to $153. That was an amazing recovery. You can see in an alt. Practically speaking, that's clearly shows that how strong Solana is, but that's more likely a dead cat bounce to me actually, because of the volume that we are watching. So what we can expect for Solana is that can be a very interesting irregular expanded flat. How? So let's say this is the end of something, and then you got like A, this is like a B wave, irregular expanded flat for something like this. Here, and you can go for some sort of a pump like this. That's a resistance over here. We have a strong resistance. I think Solana can be a nice scalp for short. Very good resistance we have. I would like to see a retest of 118, 119 for Sol, and after that a push up like this, either here or here, but at least a rejection from here and a dump towards 118, 119 is likely going to happen. So I think it's a good scalp around, short scalp around 160, 159.5 with an invalidation above 163.3. That's going to be tight. The hard stop or the soft stop loss will be around 166.9, and the take profit targets will be 117.8. Just go very low if you want to take it. I'm not going to take any shorts on Sol because I'm going to take on Bitcoin. I'm very confident on that. But Solana, it's a very good actually, because you got to move on the downside like this. You got a downside, you got another move on the downside like this. That's like a clean finish, and I think this is how it plays actually. So Sol is looking really good to me actually, if you really want to buy. So guys, for today's trade I am taking this scalp actually. Let's see how it plays out, and as I mentioned previously as well, I still expect 52.8 to 52.5 minimum to be tested because of the USD dominance. It needs to have one more push on an upside, clearly having one more push on an upside, guys. So that's all for the today's stream, and I'll be taking another stream. Whatever scalps I see on Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Sol, because these are the three alts that I am watching and monitoring it very, very closely, I will give you. And this stream is recorded, so it's uploaded on YouTube as well for you guys, and you can watch it any later point of time as well. So today onwards, we are very, very active. I'm available. You have any questions, you have any queries, we are here. Also, please do attend guys Shows live stream. He takes the streams on how to use price action algos, different strategies, his views on the market, as well as the stream on how to manage your risk and how to increase your portfolio. That's a very, very important streams. You really need to know, you really need to attend actually, because a lot of people don't literally manage the risk and they end up getting wrecked. That's what you need to really be looking to Shows live streams. Let's have a look at the last chart, FET USDT on the Binance. Well, honestly speaking, FET, as I mentioned as well, that's a resistance we are having. This is the resistance we are having, and I was bearish about it. If you remember, this was my plan: go for a bearish retest and then dump like this on the downside, and that's what we did. I do think FET have went under the previous all-time highs. The resistance is 1.15. So practically speaking, the new plan for FET is a little bit more push up, down, go to the equilibrium 0.61 like this, and then we look for a push up like this to 1.16. So that's what my plan for FET. It's bearish to me, honestly speaking, very much bearish. We have back under the previous all-time highs. Lot of people on the Twitter, you guys know it, I won't name it, they were saying $1 trillion for AI is going to 1 trillion. They were just selling the dreams. Actually, they were invested heavily in AI coins. They were like invested heavily in shit coins. They just wanted their bags to pump so that they can make good amount of money and they can exit. But luckily, it never happens, and they got wrecked. I know a lot of guys, a lot of influencers, those who are claiming AI is going to 1 trillion. I was very, very vocal about it. We won't go anything above 40 to 50 billion dollar in this run max. Even we did not went above 30 billion dollar, honestly speaking. So just next time, don't listen to these guys. You just unfollow them. Honestly, they don't deserve it. They have misguided like hell to a lot of people. AI going to $1 trillion. They have invested heavily in the AI coins. They just want to pump their back so that they can get a good exit from you guys. But we were the ones, we know when to buy. We bought BTC at 60,000. We sold at 70.5. All our BTCs, whatever we had, we closed it. Nothing. And we also, played a very good scalp of fiber into July. Shorted BTC at 70k. Unluckily for me that I took very good early profits. But the sign was I was expecting $62,000, easy peasy. Anyone can go to $58,000. So practically speaking, we have played very, very nicely in my view for BTC. And from an investor's perspective, investors would have made a very good amount of returns, from our analysis, honestly speaking. A lot of big investors I know that are in one touch with me have capital more than $10 million. Basically, those I guide them. I don't give them financial advice, but I guide them actually, and they make good amount of money, with this swings. Actually, they just take like 4 to 5 trades in a month, maybe sometimes like 3-4 trades, and they are done. They just go very, very low leverage, and they make good amount of money actually. So that's what, guys, I think our plan for the overall market. I just want to make it clear actually, I told FET to hold for $7, but I clearly mentioned over here actually that this is my plan. Actually, we have lost the levels, and there was some merger happening for FET. I was very clear. If FET lose these levels, yes, we are dumping back down, and this is what the chart I never drew right now in front of you. It was already there actually, which means that I've discussed it, I've shared it on stream, as well as I've shared it in Discord, maybe, I'm not sure, but this is what I've discussed. And also I mentioned, till we don't flip certain levels, we can't go all-time highs because the structures are changing. Similarly, for INJ as well, I mentioned, very similar thing, because when we see that the structures are losing, yes, till we don't flip this green line, it's bearish. We can literally go down, and that's what INJ is doing. So we don't buy till we literally don't flip it. So I think FET, I have been very vocal about it. Might be that you might not get updated yourself with our stream or anything, but this is the plan actually. This was the plan for FET. You see, this is the drawing that I had already for FET. I mean, I've never drawn anything. This was the drawing. Already we are having it, which means that the plan was shared, my friend. I'm sorry, I mean, you might have missed it, but you see the drawings are there. So practically the drawing was there in July itself, which means that we have seen this. I have charted this and I have mentioned this, that we are going down. I don't tell anyone. And a lot of people ask me as well to hold about FET, RNDR, but I have been very clear, my friend. You don't have to be angry on me. It's like you have to be updated yourself. I have been very vocal about it. This is how the market is going to go down. This is where the market is going down, my friend. You will have to attend the stream. You will have to update yourself. I give regular updates on everything. For example, I give updates on BTC as to how I'm going to play actually. I don't have any FET. I'm very vocal about it. I don't have any alt. I'm not interested in any altcoins. I only have DOT spot buys, which is underwater. I have waves underwater. I have LDO, which is a very big investment I have. I'm just going to hold it for like long term for like next 1 year or so. So that's what I have. These are the alts that I have. Apart from that, I don't have anything. So FET, of course, we already sold actually FET, if you remember, for like a 90% pump when we caught this, sniped this move on the downside. But I'm very vocal about it, my friend. I mean, this is how the market was supposed to go after the merger actually. I don't know whether the merger happened or not, but this is what the analysis, my friend. I'm sorry if you feel that I've been not clear. I would also suggest that you should attend all the streams, or at least you should look the streams that we had previously. The plan was shared, my friend. Yeah, I mean, we have the spot bags as I mentioned, and we are holding it. I am having spot bags as I mentioned. I have DOT, I have LDO, I have waves underwater, and one more we have. No, I think we have 3 only. So that's what I have actually, and that's what I'm holding, honestly speaking. And I have an underwater spot bags. These are the 3 bags I have underwater actually. Apart from that, I don't have anything else. But let me just chart it probably if, because if BTC, USA dominance is going to play this way, we get one more push on an upside. This is how it wants to play. And I think it's going to play this way. Then you're going to get a good bounce on FET. So probably what you should be doing is, if I were you, how I would play actually. I would just simply transfer my FET spot backs to the coin margin because on Bybit it is available. On Binance it's not there at this point. So you can just probably wait for it to sweep the lows, and it's gonna go under 0.4. And after that, because you see the structure, it is doing 5 waves actually. Clearly over here it's 5 waves. It's like 1, 2. You have a wave 3 which is still missing, 4 and 5. And after that you're going to see A, B, C, a push up for a bearish retest. That's what the bearish retest is gonna do. So what you can do is, what is your average? Let's say if your average is roughly around 1.5, because I do remember, even if you're holding, your average should be, we wanted to buy FET. If you really wanted to buy, this is where your average should be around 1.2 to 1.1. In my view, that is where your average should have been. If that is the case, what you should be doing is, you should be looking for shorts, a hedge for FET around 1.08 to 1.07. and you should be taking that short take profits around 0.4 to 0.43. You should start building only 2x coin margin longs for FET, and you can book around this resistance around 1.6 to 1.7. so that way you're not only going to recover your loss, but that way you will also going to make good amount of money with the FET. And like over here you sell it, khalas, you sell it, that's it. I won't even recommend you to hold, even if unless it flips this levels as support, then it's a different story. But for now I would say any bearish retest you exit. That's what I would say actually. So that's the plan that we have. Let's also check RNDR, what it is up to, if we can scalp anything. RNDR is also forming a Burj Khalifa sort of a pattern. This is like a previous highs of 4.8, and we are like retesting like a bearish retest for now. What I feel is, or what I see is, from the wavecon perspective, a double bottom sort of a thing. Maybe try to flip it up and do something like this for a bearish retest for RNDR would be nice. If you don't flip, then it can just go for a waterfall to 1.8 to 1.1. That's what. But RNDR is like a bearish retest to me at this point. Let's check ICP. Solana is looking great to me actually, but it's gonna do double bottom. ICP went for like a 5 waves to 2414. It rejected from 19.2 with my resistance, and that's the top actually. It's a perfect, if you look at the structure, it is having a similar structure to RSR, a dead coin that we have, RSR. So if you look at here, RSR, so we wanted to see the move on the downside to the yellow line, which we did right now. I think that's a big support that we have for RSR here. So for ICP, as you can see, we got a move. We likely going to sweep the lows. A little bit more accumulation happens, and then we run up. A similar sort of a thing I expect for ICP. Yeah, that was the plan actually. People normally don't listen, but then that's how it was ended up. We still have $4.8 left, so I think ICP is gonna go for a support. This can be A, this can be B, so I would like to see a retest of something like this to 9.7, and then further go down to 4.4 and maybe like 3.5 as well. Till we don't reclaim 9.5, we are bearish. But once we reclaim it, then we can look for an upside towards 12.9. But for now, I'm bearish on ICP. There's nothing to be bullish about this shit going. So that's all what I have, guys, for you, and for all the updates that I have. If you like this stream, guys, press the like button. And Muhammad, I think I've shown you the plan for how you should play FET, and you can make not only recover your spot losses, but you're gonna make good amount of money with this spot trade. One advice is don't go more than 2x, my friend. I know it's gonna be a little bit slow, but don't go more than 2x. Further, I've been very vocal about it, and I also mentioned previously as well that hey, when XRP pumps, the market, it's never good for the market. The market normally ends up, shitting the bed actually. That's exactly what it did. But it's not only XRP. There are a few alts that you should be remembering it for, like XRP, EOS, LTC, Litecoin, Doge. These are the few alts that whenever the pump, normally the market goes for, some sort of a nasty correction actually, because these exit pumps normally happen at the last. So yeah, I mean, I'm not an XRP investor now, guys, because I've sold all my XRP previously as well in the bull run. I don't have anything left now for XRP, honestly speaking. So that's all for the today's stream, guys. Have a nice day. Let's connect in evening again. Whatever I see for the trade, this is what I'm gonna post it for my scalp, like a trade idea. So I'm gonna post it, guys. If you really want to take this trade idea, you should be taking it with a pinch of salt and with a less lower risk actually. Okay. So that's all. Have a nice day, guys. Take care. Bye bye.